Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do a clicker training session with my horse. So I do clicker training, like that's my main form of training. So like every session's a clicker training session, and this is how I set up and run my sessions and set my horses up for success, because it is a little bit different to traditional training. So come along and let me show you guys what I do. So the first thing that I do is make sure that my horses do not have an empty stomach, because if you have a horse with an empty stomach and you're trying to train with food, you can expect your horse to be an absolute monster, especially when you're first starting out. Now, because Tarek is experienced in clicker training, as in we've been doing it for years, I can literally use very high value food and get like really high. When I use high value food, I expect a lot more from him, and he can do that. He doesn't get frustrated, he doesn't get upset, but a lot of horses, that is just too much for them. So I'm gonna set up this hay net. I actually already set one up, but Tarek is being a hog-it-all and isn't letting Aragon eat, which is actually very unusual. He's usually really good, but the hay that we've got is really good quality. So I think he's just like, nah, this is too valuable of a resource. Hey! I said no fighting. So I'm just gonna set this hay net. I'm gonna let them eat some hay for a little bit. I'll probably work Tarek first, just because he works better on not as full a stomach, whereas Aragon gets anxious and frustrated easily if he is hungry. So I'm gonna make sure he's got a nice full tummy before we start, so I'm setting them both up for success. Hi Aragon. So this is Tarek hogging all the food. So I'm gonna go split this up so that they can both have some. Here we go, he's a happy boy now. Hey, you got your own hay net. Also, look at this hay. Ah, it's so soft and delicious. Nom nom. Aragon's got the slow feeder net. Tarek's got the non-slow feeder net, which means he can have massive mouthfuls. He's probably gonna get through it way too quickly, to be honest. All right, I think it's time for you to start working. How do we feel about that? He's like, working for the hay? We could do that. We could do that. Yum, nom, nom, nom. All right, let's grab the essentials. So I like using a whip a lot of the time for my cues, because I think that it is prettier than a target stick. But for videos, I do like to use a target stick, because a lot of you guys will be using target sticks. So my target stick and my trusty tripod to film with my pivo. Okay, while the boys are eating and filling up their tummies a little bit, I'm gonna set up for today's session. So I'm gonna do Tarek first, and we're gonna be doing reverse round pen work. So what is a reverse round pen? It is a tool that we use in positive reinforcement training. It's called a reverse round pen because it's kind of like flips a round pen on its head. So with a round pen, you're pushing the horse around the outside. With a reverse round pen, the horse is, you're kind of drawing the horse around. It's a little bit different, and so we just call it a reverse round pen. I didn't name it, it's just a common name, and a lot of people have been like, that's stupid, it needs a different name. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't up to me. We can call it whatever the heck we want. But I'm using poles at the moment, so I have done a video on my TikTok where you can use rope. I used to use rope with Tarek, but now that I'm in a more permanent facility, I've just set it up with poles. They're quite low on the ground because my horses understand the concept of a reverse round pen. But if you are new to this, it can help having the poles a little bit higher to make more of a boundary. So more like this sort of height, especially if your horse gets quite excited by food. Alternatively, you can just start behind a fence and just work up and down the fence rather than going around in circles, just to teach your horse the understanding of what we do in clicker training, because horses, especially when you're working with food and high energy, it can get out of control quite quickly, and that can put a lot of people off positive reinforcement training. But if you know how to do it properly, it's quite low risk. In fact, it's actually safer than most other training methods, because you're not pushing your horse to any sort of like sympathetic nervous system responses, like fight, flight, you know, all those sort of things. So you're working within the horse's window of tolerance for their emotions and their mentality that they can deal with. Anyway, so this is my setup for the reverse round pen. It's literally just jump poles on some bricks, super easy. Like I said, you can use rope if you want like more of a temporary setup. So you can use rope and like those pickets, electric fence pickets. I've also used cones with tent pegs in them, and I've threaded the rope around the tent pegs. Like really whatever works for you, but this is what I'm doing. Now it is inside of a round pen. I'm aware of that. Some people got really confused when I posted this on TikTok. It's literally because I don't use the round pen in the normal way that we use the round pen, and no one else at the moment is using the round pen, so this is a really good place for me to set up the reverse round pen and keep it set up. That's why I am putting it inside the round pen. So that's the only reason why there is a reverse round pen inside a round pen. I also like working with the reverse round pen for movement because I find it easier to build relaxation, to build forward movement, to build enthusiasm, because at no point am I pushing the horse. The horse offers me things, so it's coming from a different place. It's not me saying, hey, you gotta do this. It's the horse saying, hey, let me do this for you, and then I get the reward. It changes the mindset, and that's the most important thing, is because the way that you're perceiving something and the way that your horse is perceiving something can be very different. So with a normal round pen, yeah, you're making your horse run around the outside by driving them, but to your horse, you know, to you, you're driving them around, but to your horse, they're being chased with something, you know? So it just is a bit different. It's a little bit different. It matters to the horse. That's the main thing. I have personally found that you can get much more relaxed movement a lot quicker, and it's also easier to tell them what you want them to do because you're using a clicker. But you guys are going to see that. So let's get to it. That's enough rambling for me. So I've just chucked him in there now. I forgot to put water in there. So that's one thing that I always like to have on him, is the water, so the horse can go and get drink whenever he needs to, because when you're working with food, you know, they get thirsty. You don't want them to choke either. Hi, are you excited? Yeah? It's just water. So the water is over there. When I'm working with a new horse, I will take a lot of breaks and lead them over to the water and let them know that they can have water whenever they want. But my horses, because we've been doing training for a while, they know that if they can stop and have a break, have water, have a scratch, have a stretch whenever they want. So I don't need to do that because they can do that themselves. Okay, so I have a microphone. I don't know if it's keep cutting in and out. If it does, I'm just gonna have to do a voiceover. But I'm gonna talk the whole time, see what happens. Also, I broke the clip, so. Oh my god! No! Stop it! My god. Bruh, stop. I know you want to get going, but I've set up all of the things. Because the people want to see Pony! Oh my god. He's a menace to society. Alright. Okay, let's go. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do my best to film it with it in my hand. So, Tarek was complaining about the loosened pallets. He said he wanted the hay, so got him some hay. Now he's pretty keen to work. Are you ready? All right, let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna film in my opposite hand. All right. So when I first start out, I always give him lots of little wins to start with, because that's going to build behavioral momentum. Even though the last session we ended on, he may have been able to go for quite a while before getting a click, I'm not just going to jump straight to that. He's having some water. No, no, don't knock that over. Come on. So I just finished a little mini session with Tarek. So my sessions are quite short. I think this one probably went for like 10 minutes max. And see how he's quite distracted because we haven't done this for a while and he's been down in the paddock a lot. So he's getting a little bit magnetized to where the herd is. So he's had a little bit of trouble concentrating. So I'm just going to do a really short session. Usually we can, because I built it up with him, don't hit that over. We can go quite long in sessions, but that's not really typical of clicker training. But I do have lots of frequent breaks and I just see what he wants to do. So Like if he wants to keep working, then we'll keep working. But at the moment, I'm just gonna give him a little short session and then pop him back into the paddock to have some more hay, switch out, do Aragon, then switch them back in, that's why it's good having 2 horses to work, because you can alternate. Otherwise I would have just had to like kind of wait around until Tarek had a break and then go back to it. So yeah. Yeah, I'm coming. I know you're so excited. Wait. I also always have a bucket or a feed pan in my round yard wherever I'm working with horses with food, so that when I'm going and doing something and I'm working with a horse that doesn't know how to do a prolonged stand yet, or park, or whatever it is that you call it, so essentially like stay, I can put some food in the food pan and they can eat it while I go and do whatever else I need to do, and it stops your horse staying there being like, oh my god, why did the food stop, and getting frustrated about it. So that's something that I highly recommend. Isn't that right, Aragon? He's like, yeah, more food please.